Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rezky Pratama. My name code is 2301801. I'm from Key 5 English class Padang State University. And now I will explain you about recount and narrative text. We move to about recount text. A recount text is type of text that retells past events or experience in chronological order. It typically includes an orientation or introduction, a series of events, and reorientation as a conclusion. Uh, a recount text, it's about something what happened in the past, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and the others. And the purpose is, for number one, entertain. The context can be used to entertain readers by presenting and giving information and also inspiring the imagination. Next, number two is providing information. Context can provide or give you about detailed information in the past, like something what happened in the past. For number three is inspiring or teaching a lesson. The context can inspire readers by presenting motivating experience or providing valuable life lessons. Number four is building an emotional connection. By recounting personal experience or meaningful events, like your past experience about something, recount text can help readers feel connected to the author and develop empathy for the other people's experience. Next, about language feature of recount text. For number one, of course, we will use of past tense verbs. Recount text use past tense verbs to describe event or something happened in the past. For example, we went, I saw, she climbed. For number two is temporal connective. To maintain chronological order, the context use temporal connectives such as first, then, next, after that, finally, to link one event to another event in the past. For number three is contextualization with time and place. The context usually includes information about when the accident happened or where the accident happened in the past, and when and where the event took place to provide clear context to the reader. For the four, use of first-person pronouns, because the context often narrates about personal past experience, then usually they use of the first-person pronouns such as I, we, and my. It is common in the text. Number five, detailed description. The context tends to present in-depth description to vividly depicts events or experience to the reader. This description helps the reader imagine what happened or feel what happened in the past. Number six, use of conjunction. To link sentence and create a smooth narrative flow, the context employs various types of conjunctions such as and, but, so, and the others. And for the last one is conclusion or reflection. The end of the context often includes a brief conclusion or reflection by the writer about the experience. This can provide the reader with insight into what the reader has learned or felt. General structure of the context. For number one is orientation. This part will introduce the reader to the context or background of the story. Usually, the orientation includes information about who, what, where, when, and why the events occur or happen in the past. Number two is series of events. In this section, where the writer recounts the events that happen in chronological order, like uh, This happened in like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and the others. And important details of each event are typically included to provide a better understanding to the reader and to imagine that. Number three is resolution. The resolution section summarizes the story and may include reflection or conclusion from the experience being recounted. It provides a proper closure to the story. Next, we talk about narrative text. Narrative text is a type of text that tells a story about a series of events chronologically and connected to each other. The nature of the narrative text is that it's imaginative or in the form of fictional story, usually an essay, which has the aim of entertaining the reader. The purpose of narrative text, for number one or for the priority purpose, is to entertaining the reader, to how make readers feel enjoy with this narrative or fiction text. Type of narrative text. For number one is fable. Fable is a story about animals, for example, like the ugly duckling, the country of the mice, a bear, and a rabbit, and the others. For number two is myth or myth. It's a mythical story that has developed in society and is generally considered a factual story or actually happened. For example, Ejisaka and Dewata Cengkar. Number three, legend or legendary is a story tell about origin of a place or the legend of some somewhere or about something. For the example, is the legend of Surabaya, the legend of Pramodar Temple of the story Lake Toba. Number four is folk tale or folklore. It's a story that has been passed down from generation to generation until it has become a part of community tradition. For example, like Malin Kundang, Golden Eggs, or about Tangkuban Perahu. Number five, about fairy tales or fables. It's a folk tale or children's story that has a magic in the story told by the author. For example, Timun Mas, Tinkerbell, or Thumbelina. Uh, Number six, about love story or romance. It's a story that tells generally about the love struggle of the main character or about the love story of the characters. For example, like Romeo and Juliet, I'm one of the full men. And the last one, and number seven, personal experience, is a narrative text that contain the author personal experience, like uh, you have holiday in at 2 days ago or 2 years ago. Number eight, about slice of life. It's a story that contain activities or story that occur in daily life or your daily activity. The author or imaginative character, for example, the true friends. You can search that. Number nine is about horror stories. It's a type narrative text that tells generally scary stories such as ghosts or other astral creatures to scare you and make you feel aware about this story. Next, about science fiction is a story that's tell about things related to science or like sci-fi. It's about sci-fi or in the future or something else. Next, about characteristic of narrative text. After know the meaning and type of narrative text, you need to know the characteristic of narrative text along with their characteristic. For number one, narrative text tells the story from the past. It's usually from the past. And number two, using nouns or pronouns to replace the word animals, people, object in the story. For example, the dwarf's carriage and so on. Number three, usually these are stories that many people already know and have development in society. Number four, narrative text story elements consist of time setting, place, story time, character, atmosphere, conflict, and resolution. Of course, with plot too. And number five, arranged in a simple sequel of several complex sequels. Next, about element linguistic in narrative text. Narrative text also has linguistic elements or language features which consist of following 7 elements. For number one, like using past sentence, like for example, by using verb three, such as killed, drunk, won, said, and the others. Number two, use adverb of time or adverb for place. For example, when, suddenly, before, until, soon. Number three, using time conjunction. For example, after, as soon, then, the last. Number four, using specific character. For example, like protagonist in the story, like Aladdin, Rapunzel, Cinderella, and the others. Number five is action verb. For example, walk, wrote, walk, talk. In narrative text, you will found many action verbs to describe the narrative text. Number six, using direct speech or direct sentence that use the present tense. For example, like Aladdin said, she is the one. Number seven, using saying and thinking verbs or verbs that show speech. For example, told, said, and thought. Because it's related to the time information, it's very important to understand tense used in a sentence. And the last one about general structure of narrative text. For number one is orientation, is the initial paragraph which contains introduction to the characters involved in incident story. Apart from that, the orientation contains the scene and time of the story. Number two, complication. Complication consists of paragraph that explain the beginning of the event or incident. The beginning of this event becomes a series of storylines which then continue the conflict, climax, and anticlimax. And the last one about resolution. Resolution is the final part of the story. As the name suggests, the third structure of narrative text contain a resolution. I think that's all from me. Sorry for my all mistakes. Thanks for watching this video. See you guys. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.